who is set apart is not called to live an ordinary life. They are called to walk in the power, the authority, and the purpose of the one who called them. There is a burden that rests upon those whom God has set apart, a weight that cannot be shaken off, a fire that burns within them even when they try to ignore it. It is not a burden that comes from human striving or ambition. It is a divine urgency, a call that grips the heart and refuses to let go. This burden is not something they choose, it is something that chooses them. From the moment God marks a person for his purpose, he places within them a deep, unrelenting passion for his king. They cannot remain indifferent. They cannot turn a blind eye to the things of God. Even in moments of distraction, even when they try to pursue other paths, there is always something pulling them back, something reminding them that they were created for more. The weight of this burden is not always easy to carry. It often feels overwhelming, as though it is too much for one person to bear. There are moments when they wish they could be like everyone else, content with a simple, ordinary life, free from the pressing urgency to do the will of God. But those who are set apart will never find true peace outside of their calling. They may try to silence the voice of God, but it will always speak. They may attempt to fill their lives with other things, but nothing will satisfy. The hunger for God's purpose will always remain, growing stronger the longer they try to resist it. This burden manifests in many ways. For some, it is a deep grief over the brokenness of the world, an ache for souls that are lost, a cry for revival that never fades. For others, it is an unshakable desire to see God's will done on earth, to build, to restore, to bring light into darkness. Whatever form it takes, it is undeniable. It interrupts sleep. It fills their prayers. It weighs on their heart in a way that cannot be ignored. They may not always understand it, but they know they are carrying something greater than themselves. It is as though they are pregnant with a divine assignment, something that must be birthed in its appointed time. The burden for the kingdom also sets them apart from those around them. While others may be consumed with temporary pursuits, they are drawn to eternal matters. While others are satisfied with surface-level Christianity, they crave deeper encounters with God. This can lead to feelings of isolation, of being misunderstood, of walking a lonely road. But it is in this loneliness that God does his greatest work. He uses it to draw them closer to himself, to separate them from distractions, to refine them for the purpose they were created for. The weight of the burden also comes with a cost. There will be seasons of deep sacrifice, of laying down personal dreams, of letting go of relationships that are not aligned with God's calling. The one who is set apart will often find that they cannot do what everyone else does, cannot go where everyone else goes, cannot live as everyone else lives. They are called to a different standard, a higher level of consecration, a life fully yielded to God. This can be painful, but it is necessary. The burden of the kingdom is not given to those who are unwilling to carry it. It is entrusted to those who are willing to lay everything down for the sake of his will. Despite the challenges, those who carry this burden also experience something extraordinary. They see the hand of God move in ways others do not. They witness miracles, divine appointments, supernatural provision. They walk in a level of intimacy with God that others only read about. The burden may be heavy, but it comes with a grace that sustains. Those who are called will find that even in their weakness, even in their struggles, God gives them the strength to continue. He does not place a burden upon them without also providing the power to carry it. And so, the one who is set apart must make a choice. They can either resist the burden, fighting against the very thing they were created for, or they can surrender to it. They can allow God to use them, to shape them, to lead them into the purpose for which they were born. Those who say yes will find that the burden, though great, is also their greatest privilege. To be entrusted with a calling from God is to walk in a purpose that transcends this world. It is to live a life that will echo into eternity. No one who has truly carried the burden of the kingdom would trade it for anything else. No earthly success, no worldly comfort, no temporary pleasure can compare to the joy of knowing that they are fulfilling the very reason they were created. Those who embrace the burden will find that it is not a weight that crushes, but a fire that empowers. It is not a curse, but a calling. It is the evidence that they have been chosen, set apart, marked by God for something greater than themselves. And in the end, when they stand before him, they will know that every sacrifice, every tear, every moment of struggle was worth it, because they will hear the words that make it all worthwhile. Well done, my good and faithful servant. There is a deep and undeniable sense of being different that comes upon those whom God has set apart. It is not a feeling of superiority, nor is it rooted in pride, but it is an awareness that they do not quite fit in with the world around them. From an early age, they sense that they are not like everyone else. While others are content to go along with the patterns of the world, there is something within them that resists. Even when they try to blend in, something always sets them apart. They can walk into a room and feel the weight of their distinction, as though they carry an invisible mark upon them. It is not a mark seen by human eyes, but in the spiritual realm, it is unmistakable. This sense of being different often leads to seasons of loneliness and misunderstanding. Many times they struggle to find people who truly understand them, who can relate to the depth of their calling. They may try to explain what they feel, but words often fall short. The burden they carry, the hunger for something greater, the desire for the things of God. These are not things that everyone understands. They find that they do not enjoy the same conversations, the same entertainment, the same pursuits that others do. What excites the world does not excite them, and what grieves the heart of God grieves them as well. It is not uncommon for those who are set apart to feel like outcasts at times. Even within the church, they may feel different, as though they do not quite belong to the crowd. While others may be satisfied with surface-level faith, they are desperate for a deeper relationship with God. While others may pursue comfort and ease, they are drawn to the narrow path, to the place of surrender and sacrifice. And they are not content with ordinary Christianity. They crave an encounter with the living God. This difference is often mistaken for arrogance, for being too serious or too spiritual, but in reality, it is simply the evidence of their calling. Because they are different, they also attract opposition. The enemy recognizes their distinction and he works to make them doubt it. He whispers lies, telling them that they are strange, that they will never belong, that they are wasting their lives pursuing God. He tries to isolate them, to make them feel as though they are alone in their pursuit. But the truth is, they are not alone. God has always set apart his people, always marked certain individuals for a special purpose. Throughout history, the ones he used were the ones who were different, the ones who refused to conform, the ones who stood firm when others compromised, the ones who were willing to walk alone if necessary. Being different is not a burden, it is a blessing. It is the evidence that God has called them to something greater. If they were like everyone else, they could never accomplish what God has for them. If they fit in with the world, they could never change it. The very thing that makes them feel separate is the thing that qualifies them for their calling. God does not use those who are comfortable in the world. He uses those who are willing to be set apart, to stand out, to walk a different path. This sense of being different also comes with an inner restlessness, a holy dissatisfaction. They cannot settle for a life without purpose, without meaning, without impact. There is a fire within them that refuses to be quenched. Even when they try to ignore it, it does not go away. They feel an urgency, a pull towards something greater, something beyond the ordinary. This is God's way of keeping them focused, of keeping them moving forward, of reminding them that they were not made for a life of mediocrity. At times, the weight of this calling can feel heavy. They may grow weary of always feeling different, of always standing out, of always being misunderstood. But in those moments, they must remember that their difference is not by accident. God does not set apart people without a purpose. If he has placed this distinction upon them, it is because he has something extraordinary in store. The enemy will try to convince them that they are missing out, that they would be happier if they just conformed, if they just followed the crowd. But that is a lie. There is no greater joy than walking in the fullness of God's purpose. There is no greater satisfaction than knowing that they are exactly where they are meant to be, doing exactly what they were created to do. And so, those who are set apart must embrace their difference. They must stop trying to fit in, stop trying to be like everyone else, stop trying to quiet the fire within them. They must fully surrender to the call of God, trusting that he has a plan far greater than they can imagine. The world does not need more people who blend in. It needs people who are willing to stand out, to be different, to be light in the midst of darkness. The very thing that makes them feel separate is the thing that will make them effective. When they finally accept this truth, they will walk with confidence. They will no longer see their difference as a curse, but as a sign of their calling. They will stop longing for acceptance from the world and start longing for the approval of God. They will realize that their uniqueness is not something to be hidden, but something to be embraced, for they have been set apart for a reason, chosen for such a time as this. And when they fully step into that calling, they will find that they were never meant to fit in. They were meant to stand out. There is a deep, undeniable stirring within the hearts of those whom God has set apart. It is an inner longing, a pull towards something greater, a restlessness that refuses to be ignored. While others may be satisfied with a life of comfort and ease, those who are chosen cannot silence the hunger within them. It is a hunger for more of God, a hunger to fulfill their purpose, a hunger that will not let them settle for the ordinary. Even when they try to push it aside, it resurfaces, reminding them that they were created for something beyond what they see. This restlessness is not a burden, it is a divine invitation. It is God's way of calling them deeper, of pulling them into His perfect will. This longing is not something they can explain to everyone. Those around them may not understand why they are never satisfied, why they are always searching, always striving for something beyond what this world offers. But that is because their hunger is not for earthly things. It is for the things of God. The temporary pleasures of the world do not fulfill them.